What's up, H-Town and all around? Welcome to, or welcome back to the Dash Dispatch. We follow, we cover the Houston Dash. You know the voice, you know the face, OSG. And back again with me is that dynamic Foxtrot. What's up, Andres?
Pretty good, man. Polar opposite week compared to the week before last week.
Yeah, no joke. A full sweep last week and then a full reverse sweep this week. Like we took out the trash and then brought the trash right back in. Shit. Embarrassing. So, yeah, as he
Mm-hmm.
alluded to, all three teams won last weekend as far as Dash, Dynamo, and Dose. And then this weekend, all three teams lose in the same order: Dash, Dynamo, and Dose. What the hell? Ah, incredible, incredible. Momentum game was needed, uh, and we just could not take it. Team looked well, but man, a 2-1 loss in a game that did not want to start, did not want to play. Took till about 11:45 at night to complete due to all the stupid delays, which we're getting used to as Houston Dash fans and fans that go to the stadium. So, and then trying to watch it on TV as well if you're back at home. So, man, Andres, 2-1. Kind of want to start with the lineup. It's he went with the same lineup as last week. Only difference this week is he has Evelina Duljan and Natalie Jacobs returning from injury, so they're available off the bench. So what did you think of going with the same lineup? Ain't nothing special. Anything stood out? Expected anything different?
I was expecting a little bit more of the performance from the previous week because I felt confident how as to how they were rolling out, and the one thing I want to highlight is just the fact that Evelina Dolgen is back, which is great, and I hope she gets more acclimated with the team and just get back into playing shape just so she can get back out there. And it's good to see that she was able to make the bench for the first time in a while. So I look forward to see her play more. I love her the way she played in the first game, and I can definitely get used to that.
Absolutely. I'm glad she's back, and she did get into the game in the second half and get some minutes. So we're looking forward to seeing her more. Right now, she's the go-to off the bench every game. It looks like so far. So we'll see if she can work away and get some starts and see what she does whenever she gets a full start. That's where I'm curious. I like to see what she does right now. Coming off the bench, she has been ecstatic. What is it? Electric, electric, but just hadn't created a goal or an assist. Well, I mean, she did have that hockey assist, right? So I guess you can call it that. Yeah, I like to see more of her. But obviously, you coming off an injury, missed 3 games, got to get back in and get acclimated. But man, all right. So the game itself, man, the game itself. So I kind of felt good about the game, even though we lost 2-1. The way we played, it looked better. Shot opportunities were better. Creativity was a little better. It just looked like we fell asleep on the goals, and we'll dissect both the goals that we gave up as well, and we'll dissect the Avery Patterson goal. But man, your initial thoughts on this game that as you were able to finally indulge a 4.5 hour game. Technically didn't start at 7, so I guess it wasn't 4.5 hours. It was supposed to.
I mean, it's starting to get to the point where, as Dash fans, you have to expect that there's gonna be like a few games in the season where there's gonna be like a really bad weather delay, and this one was ridiculous. I do
Mm,
recall last year we had a similar issue with the weather that the game was just refusing to start or resume at any point, and we just had to like wait around. It felt like forever, and you just felt dead after the game ended because it feels like you just stayed at the stadium for like 6 hours, seven
yeah,
hours, and it's horrible.
and there's nothing to
It's a
do.
horrible feeling. Yeah, it's a horrible feeling, especially if the game doesn't start. You just you lose your warm ups. You don't warm up, and once everything's cleared out, you still have to warm up again and try to get back in the groove of things. So it definitely kills momentum for a
Yeah,
lot of teams, especially the how fans had to leave early. Which again, I don't blame them since it's if it takes too long, they got stuff to do. So it's just really it's bad for everyone all around. And the game itself, is I don't want to call it a classic dash loss because it felt a little bit more different. Houston played a very good game here. It's just a matter of failing what it matters most, which is when it comes to closing out the game. Granted, the first goal that was given conceded against Houston was pretty good. You can definitely debate the defensive positioning there, but I feel like it was more about the last goal that was conceded because I feel like that defensively Houston just fell asleep and left Jay Campbell in a pretty bad spot to
Right.
even do anything. So it's really disappointing because they've played a fair game. They were somewhat even in the stats too, aside from a few. But yeah,
I mean,
this
let's
was
look at the stats since you brought it up.
yeah.
Possession 61-39, shots 12-12, as you say, was pretty even. Shots on goal 6-5. So we actually had 6 shots on goal, and their new keeper or whatever just ended up having a friggin' hell of a game. And I mean that one back-to-back stops from 2 yards away. The first one was by Barb, and I couldn't tell who the second one was by. It looked like it was by Sheehan. Bang bang right there in front of her face and saved the freaking game for themselves because they ended up scoring later. But like Jesus, and then she makes a save later that Alozia takes a shot and it looks like it's dipping in and she gets a finger on it and hits the crossbar, goes out for a corner kick. So Jesus Christ, man, so Louisville keeper had a hell of a game. Passes, we did our typical. We had more possession, which means we're gonna have more passes. The accuracy was actually good for the Dash. Like I said, they were moving the ball around. We had 6 corners, 27 crosses, which has been the highest probably for the whole season right now as far as getting crosses off. 4 offsides. That's incredible. Are we watching the Liu play? But 4 offsides. That tells me, we were getting more forward and attempting to get more forward. And that's nice, especially whenever you can't even build momentum because you got delayed twice. You started the game, you got delayed, and then they immediately score right after the delay starts, and then boom, you're trying to get a run. And then it's halftime immediately, and then that's another delay for pretty much. But so saves, 3-5. Jane had to make 3 saves technically, and their keeper had to make 5. So yeah, it just I don't know what to say about it, man. It just looks good, but you make 2 fixable mistakes that shouldn't have happened in my eyes, you know? But let's revert to we scored first in the 8th minute, Avery Patterson, and the build-up play was just awesome. Awesome. And I guess we're gonna have a clip here to play for you, and we're gonna let you count it. Actually, it'll count it for you.
I like the counter.
This part right here, bing bing,
Yeah.
and then the drive. Could have led Avery Patterson a little more, but whatever. Avery doesn't work.
Step over Patterson. Her shot in the back of the net.
That shot was perfect.
Spectacular Avery Patterson. Houston Dasher in front.
That shot was perfect. It was unstoppable.
And you just took the rip. You take on the defender and you take the rip. Need more of that from more of our players. Yeah, you see Yasmin trying, but they're always covering her so close, so it's hard for her to break open. But like I said, the build up. So that's what we've been asking for, and it's been growing. We said it's been a little slow when they moved the ball around, but this time it was a little more tempo to moving the ball around, and it looked really good. Just again, credit to their keeper for making those stops, man. So, what do you think? Is it a step back or is it a tiny step back?
For
Losing this game, the playing well and then losing this game when you had the momentum, you had the opportunity to get 3 points and move into a playoff position. Now with the loss, you're still stuck at the bottom. So it's we said if we took a loss to this game and we were expecting to win, is it going to be a step backwards? So I'm saying it is, but how big of a step, or is it in your opinion?
I think it is a significant step back because, of course, we still have another game to play coming up, and anything can change at that moment, depending on how they play and all that. But I feel like it's more significant because the fact of the matter is we're still pretty low in the standings. The gap is not widening a lot, thankfully, so things can change. But it's more about momentum and building the results because the one thing that historically speaking the Dash have not been able to build is consistency. Apart from a few occasions, especially when it comes to the Challenge Cup year or just like one of the year we only made it to playoffs, and we just have to see a statement now because we've already had a few more games with the Dash already. The team has been playing together now, and I see the results. It's just really a matter of how they're just able to stand up and just string those results to get back in the standings, just to keep fighting for those spots. And there's still a long way to go. Things could definitely change, and especially with the reinforcements coming in and all that. But as things stand, like it's really just hard to. It's a really hard sell for fans to just be really confident. Aside from the fact that this is like a new team, like we've been talking about all year.
Yeah. I mean, if we can get a few more fans out there, maybe that extra little bit of noise will be that extra X factor that the girls need to make it a home field advantage. But right now, they're just playing. They can hear themselves talk. It's quiet in the stadium. They can hear the drummers off in the distance right there. So it's got to do a little more. But it's looking good. The Fabri system, I'm good with. So I say that's why I said just a tiny step back because this should have been a winnable game. Was a winnable game. Should have got the 3 points. Ended up getting 0.
I
So
agree.
didn't get a draw. So that's why I say it's a step back because you're on the drawing board. You had to push the pedal down a little bit more in this game, and I'm not going to say it backfired, but because it didn't backfire, it was just a lapse twice, a lapse. So let's talk about the first lapse. Friggin' Jane Campbell. Feel like I had a seizure or a backflash talking about Jane Campbell 2 years ago. I'm sure you might remember, or even Hermana will probably remember. Jesus, it was that long ago that talking about Jane, and I wish she would just stay on the line. You're a goalkeeper. You're not the last defender. Louisville's pressing. Yes, granted, they win the ball. And they're moving the ball around, but Jane Campbell's just sitting so far out. She's sitting on the 6-yard back box, and this attacker's 25 yards away, 28 yards away, and all you got to do is put it over the keeper, and the ball barely made it over the goal line and into the back of the net. So it's like, Jane, what were you doing? I just wish you would just get on our line, just hold her space a little bit better, and on the defense for giving that ball away and being too lazy. I think it just got to get rid of the ball and can't give it away right there and give those opportunities. Jane, you're smarter than that. That's going to look bad on your resume when your national team keepers coaches watching. Man, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that goal?
It was very. At first glance, it was more debatable to see like who gets the blame, and the more I look into it, you can probably guess why Jane wasn't expecting that shot because it was a little bit far out, and I guess the view was blocked a little bit from one of the defenders. But you could definitely make the case that she probably would have had to set herself up closer to the line since they were like Racing Louisville was just like setting up the play outside the box, so they're definitely within range to get the perfect shot and get it in. And this is what happened here. And credit to the first goal here because like it's literally the bend was perfect. Like the execution was so perfect that it managed to beat Jane. And you could also say that if she was closer to the player, obviously she may have had a chance to get a touch in the ball and let it out, but that's way more difficult because the attacker can just like either chip it out or do anything else. And in this case, the shot was perfect, and it was more about like Jane. Maybe she could have stepped back a little bit, especially with like the play being that close to the box.
She had time to step back and get back on her line and retreat a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and then when you look at the shot, and then if she was in her position, the shot never goes in. And then that steal and the press, isn't is just a little wish wash. Yeah, he wasn't able to drive into the box, but she was smart enough to see how far Jane was out and just took that friggin' shot and got it over friggin' Jane. I'm like, but when
Yeah.
you're watching it like, oh no, trying to pull Jane
Yeah.
back, get into the net, get into the goal line. Oh, bro, so it was just so annoying, man, so annoying. And this is 12 minutes after Avery scores her goal, and immediately after we come back from the first delay. Well, the first delay after the game started.
Yeah, and you could say it's demoralizing just because of the timing.
Oh yeah,
Because like I felt like Houston was just playing very well in this game, and conceding the conceding a goal here just to get the score tied, I feel like it changed things mentally for Houston. And really bad goal to concede. Of course, credit goes to Racing Louisville for taking their opportunity and just burying it perfectly. So we're kind of behind now, and we have to just get back in the game.
yeah. Well, we tried, and then what happens? We get caught on a bad counter play. I mean, a bad counter play. There's a lot to dissect. So I don't know why Paige is the one that was the defender that was stepping in that situation, or if it just because we were trying to do a set piece and trying to, push the ball in the box, and she was just up further than Katie Lynn was. But why it was her, because, you got that winger over there. So her step allowed that winger so much space. She's never going to get back. Katie Lynn couldn't catch the corner, and then boom, there you go. Nothing Jane can do. This one's not on Jane at all. This one's just on the defense, just bad positioning and not set up for a counterattack. And unfortunately, Jane does get a hand on it, but it's not enough. It goes in the goal. Boom, there they go, 2-1. We can't score again the rest of the game, hence the 2-1 loss. But man, defense, I don't know if they just fell asleep or what was going on right there, man. What happened to you with your emotions in that play happened?
They got caught flat-footed. Literally, the line was broken when it happened, and Racing Louisville, all they had to do was just to have a player on the right, and that's gonna do it because it was like it was literally broken because we only needed one player there, and we had three defenders on the other side, so it was just way too late for them to like come back and try and stop the play. Like it's just really bad. It looks bad because, like I said, like we've been fairly consistent in some things. Whenever it matters most, the team just tends to fall flat in most occasions, and this one is a good case. A really disappointing goal, obviously, kind of late into the game, and kind of it gives us like we're back into that scenario where we still have time to come back, but we kind of know that if the team's starting to put the game away, there's a 90% chance they're gonna take the win here. So it's really disappointing, and they just have to sort that out. And obviously, easier said than done, but still pretty bad.
Now, I thought we had a situation where we could have put Ordonez in the final 15 minutes. We're getting these crosses off that you hadn't seen it as many before. It's a perfect situation for her in the type of striker she is. We're putting the ball in the box, putting the ball in the box, putting the ball in the box. We didn't even use Ordonez this game. So that was my only question of the substitutions. I thought that was the moment for Ordonez to come in and ignite herself, but no, we ended up taking Bright out and using, I believe it was, Bright and Olive Barb as your two forwards. So I thought that was a situation you could have used Ordonez. I'm okay with her not starting and Bright being the starter, but Bright's going to have to start getting goals or assists, or we're just going to we'll have to give Ordonez that start and see what she can do in a full 90 and find something, because right now we don't have that. striker. Just Messiah just brings more to the table. But that was a moment for Ordonez. Were you surprised that Ordonez getting the moment, or did would you agree with Fabrice just leaving her on the bench?
There's a lot of offensive options that we have, and anything can work at this point. I feel like in this game in particular, yeah, there's still so much we can do, and the one thing that changed, especially when it comes to making substitutions, those definitely came, especially when Michelle Lossi, obviously early into the second half, which is great. I feel like it wasn't enough, or there was just like some sort of mismatch because I felt the presence sometimes, but whenever it mattered most, especially after the second goal was conceded, obviously Neto Jacobs came in and Messiah Brad. I mean, Neto Jacobs came in and Doljan came in, and we were on the right track. But still, I feel like there's a lot of variables we can always put out, but here I feel like we're getting into the understanding that we have to make those substitutions now as soon as possible in these type of situations. And yeah, I definitely could say that I was initially comfortable with the choices here, but I feel like I was missing more. And obviously counted hindsight because we lost the game, but still, like we're getting there. I feel like.
Right. And when we're watching the game, we're thinking too, like, okay, we're trying to predict, and like, all right, when's Ordonez coming in? When's Ordonez coming in? And I said it to myself a couple times. Ordonez should be coming in. I think we still had a sub left open too. So yeah, because we only made the 4 subs. So unless we used the 3 windows and then we didn't have that 5th sub. I forget how they came. No, because we made 1 and 3. Whatever. But yeah, so whatever. We didn't use her. We didn't start her. So it is what it is. I don't know what's going on with Ordonez full term if she's just not healthy yet or what. Because
No,
she's not making the pitch. But anyways,
like,
yeah. Any final
the
comments on this game? Losing 2 to friggin' 1.
first for the honor of Ordonez, I don't wanna like give comparison to the Dynamo, but it feels like the Sebas Ferreira situation, and
Man,
it's kind of like, oh, come on. I mean, it could just be like an issue of like not fitting with like Fabrice wants to do, but at the same time, it's kind of like we gotta give her playing time, you know. So we gotta like try things out, get a goal here and there. Maybe this game could have been a difference, but I'm not a coach, so it's
yeah.
just disappointing to see either way.
I mean, we're
And
couch coaches.
yeah, and for this game, you said it yourself. It was a winnable game. I felt the same way. Really disappointing that we let this opportunity slip, especially with how the team played in this game. And it was more of a combination of the wasted opportunities at goal, which is great to see. Like we're getting shots, and shots, but they just fell flat defensively, and they paid the price, especially late into the second half. Just with like some more minutes to spare to make a difference. So
Yeah.
really disappointing performance. Well, result, but ultimately, I feel like there's some progress into like what the team wants to do for the rest of the season, but they cannot afford these type of performances in the long run.
Man, even the delay even hindered media, man. Because shout out to Edgar. He asked all the questions in the Fabrice press conference after the game because there was no media present and it was that late after 12 o'clock as well. So geez, man. So shout out to
Horrible.
Edgar for
Yeah.
asking all the questions in the press
Edgar,
conference
yeah.
and so doing a good job. But all right, man. Well, that's it. 2-1 loss. We have to move forward now, and now we get on the plane and we go on the road. We go out West Coast. But before we do that, we got to check out the NWSL Roundup and see what happened in the rest of the league over the weekend because there was some surprising scores. So you got to check them out yet, but we'll roll
I
through
did,
real quick.
yes.
We'll hit the standings, and then we'll jump into who we play next, which is in a little context we play Seattle. Obviously next, but. Houston, Louisville, 1-2. Here's game of the week, man. On primetime happened supposed to happen the same time as us on Friday night. This was the Amazon Prime Time Soccer After Dark, or however they call it. Washington hosted Angel City, and Angel City won 4-3. First time in history a Thompson hit a Thompson for an assist. What I mean by is a sister combination goal in the NWSL. So that was fun to see, I guess. It wasn't
It was
against
insane.
yeah, and insane for them too. And then first time, like, man, crazy. Like first time, but whatever. Got the goal, and it's the opposite way around. You expect Alyssa Thompson to get the goal, and it was Giselle who got the goal. So good job, way to do it. That was fun, but like I said, at Washington, 4-3, Angel City with that win. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Whew. So, as I said, our next opponent is Seattle. Seattle was at home. We're going to their home now. And what do? They only beat Kansas City 1-0. All right, well, they're set up on some momentum, and we got to go up there and disrupt that as
no pressure.
Came in and do that. Yeah, for real. What the heck, man? That's insane. And I'm sure we know that looking at game tape, too. So how are we going to beat Seattle? Oh, no. Portland, told you, I think you said this before the season, too. Portland was kind of like in shambles, but, man, all of a sudden they're pulling out wins. Portland defeated Orlando 1-0. Portland. So Orlando goes down, which is, what the heck? Utah at home loses North Carolina 2-0. Gotham and Chicago 0-0. So Gotham, again, you don't know who they are this week. They decided to lay an egg again instead of being a team that won 4-1 the week before at Portland. So,
yeah, and I think Chicago fired their head coach last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow, they did that already too? Man.
Yeah, which it doesn't make sense, especially this early in the year, but yeah, they're last place in the league right now.
When you don't do nothing in the off season, or don't do enough in the off season, what do you expect? So I guess they want to do things, whatever. Good luck with
the only thing they did was just change the name. That's
yeah. That's where they were worried about branding. They were worried about branding instead of signing good players, man. Sorry, Shea Groom. I know you're over there still. And then the last game of the week is San Diego versus Bay, 2-1. San Diego wins in extra time. I think it's like the last play of the friggin' game. Win 2-1. Good for them. That's the friggin' scores for the week. I know the two that stood out was the Kansas City loss and the Orlando loss, and then of course Angel City with their win as well. So, what are we? 7 games in now? 7 games in? Yeah, 7 games.
We are 7, yes.
Yeah, there's 2 teams with 8 because they played that Tuesday night game, Gotham and Portland. So that's why they got 8. But Kansas City and Orlando still sitting at the top, 5-2. San Diego's now full ahead of Washington, and Washington dropped with that loss, man. And that's kind of crazy. Angel City with that win moved into 8th place and took that last playoff spot. And then with our loss, we're still sitting in 12th with a Utah and Chicago behind us. So it's good to see that a Utah and Chicago are sitting behind us, so we know we're safe. But we need to get up and move up and chase these other guys down and work our way up. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. What do we got? 7 points, and Angel City has 11 where the playoff line is. So we're only 4 points away, 7 games into the season out of a 24, right? 26 now. 26-game season. So plenty of time, as Andres mentioned earlier, to get your stuff off, man. But as you look at the standings, man, 12th place, and you played some opponents that are sitting above you already. So you're going to have to make some adjustments. Seattle, who we coming in now next, who we're getting ready to preview, it's in 7th place. Sitting in 7th place with 3 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. And as we said, just coming off that win against Kansas City, man. Anything stand out in the standings for you this week, or anything you want to mention?
Yeah, we're still 3 points away from closing the gap to get close to the playoff line. And obviously, it shouldn't be as concerning since we're not really anywhere close to the postseason. But Well, still, you still want to close the gap as much as you can, especially this early, because you need to take advantage of those opportunities. And also to do that this week, you need to get the win against Seattle, which we're gonna preview for sure. But it's I don't want to say it's winnable, but on a good day, you can definitely like pull a result here because I'm like even with the points, you're still very close, and you gotta get those results now. And Fabrice definitely understands that, and it's just really a matter of keeping up and staying consistent because it like later on, especially when crunch time hits, you may not you couldn't even afford to drop those opportunities to get points.
Oh, that's what sucks, man. At least it's early. At least it's early, so we're positively building in a negative way in the result column. But if that makes sense, but man, so yeah. But as we say, we move on. We have Seattle next in Seattle Sunday at what time is it? Sunday at
7
7 o'clock. Okay, I'm
West
cool with that.
Coast. Yep.
Yeah, Sunday at 7 o'clock because Dose plays on Friday night this week. So you got Dose
Yep.
at home on Friday night. You have Dynamo at home on Saturday night. Dash on the road on Sunday at 7 o'clock against the Seattle Rain. No longer the OLO Rain. I guess they don't have that affiliation anymore.
Yeah, they got bought out a couple years ago, but yes, it's Seattle Rain again.
Yeah, you know what? Deja vu. I feel like we've talked about that before. But and like you said, so Seattle is going to be a tough opponent on the road. Don't know what the weather's going to be like. Expect it to be kind of like last weekend. Probably would assume maybe wet. It's always raining in Seattle. Can the Jazz find a way to win on the road? How will they be able to do it as well? Even
So, kind of like the bad news is that they are unbeaten in the last 3 games, and they've only lost twice this year so far out of the 7 games they played. And really, the one thing that I see this team doing well is just consistent defensive performances. Because even though they've only been able to get a couple clean sheets so far this year, I feel like they still managed, as far as I've seen, they still happen to manage well defensively and making sure to like stress teams out and try to to get ahead in the game somehow. Because I guess you could say that the good news, or like the only good news here so far, is that they're a low scoring team. So if you're set up very well defensively, you can definitely like manage the game around them and just try to find a way to get a goal or two to put the game away right away. But of course, this is on the road, and the the stadium could just definitely be against you and whatnot. But still, like the Dash can definitely put out a road result here like they did in Chicago. But then again, we're not playing Chicago. We're playing Seattle, which is a significantly better team. So it's gonna come down to the team's performance here from here. I feel like they can pull off other results. Even if it's a draw, I'm definitely gonna be happy. Uh, but then again, it's really gonna depend on how the team plays.
yeah, home Seattle scored 7 goals, conceded 2, so defensively sound. I mean, you said that, scoring many goals, which they're not, but 4 games at home they scored 7 goals. So there's twice there they scored more than 1 goal. Then they've gotten a penalty kick in their favor at home. They like yellow cards though. Well, they're averaging one a game, I guess. So that not really. They could pass. They could pass better. They're not doing the long passes. I mean, they might be trying them, but they're not succeeding on them. So they have 4 assists out of those 7 goals. So it looks like they're making their goals per se.
Yeah, and at least for us, I did notice that we did score less goals than them so far this year. So we just had to find a way to try and stretch them out defensively to at least get those opportunities. But then again, we are creating more chances as far as I've seen. which is good, but we just gotta capitalize.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be, like you said, at home, we're going to be building against their block. So, man, can we play more like this game and get more opportunities off? When you test keepers like that, you're going to score goals. You're going to score goals. You just got to keep trying and keep pushing. So if we can play like we've been playing and keep evolving attacking-wise, we'll see what changes Fabrice makes being on the road. Some coaches tactically play their teams different at home than they do on the road. So we'll see if there's any adjustments to that and what difference he makes when this game starts as to how he lines up. I'm not expecting too much difference, except you do have a Natalie Jacobs now that can start for you, and maybe Westfall goes back to the bench because Natalie Jacobs just brings so much to the pitch. But I don't know what other changes he can make. I think we just need to take our opportunities and take more opportunities. You see the every passing Golasso. You see some shots coming. You see the Sheehan Golasso 2 weeks ago that won the game. Outside the box, you take a rip, you take a chance. You see Ryan Giggs taking shots sometimes from outside the box and not getting a lot of power behind it or hitting it way to the keeper, but take the chances, give those opportunities. But as you mentioned, Seattle at home this year have to start the season off tied Gotham 1-1, lost to Orlando 1-0, beat Portland 1-0, and then beat Kansas City 1-0. That's their home games.
They're gonna come in inspired more than anything, so we just have to play a good, above average game here, or even close to perfect, to get a result.
That sucks, man. You have to play it. You have to play just like almost perfect. But well, I don't know. So yeah, just Maurice, just keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep the defense awake. Jane, stay on your line. And I think we can get out of there with a 1-1 draw. Or some kind of goal, get a 1-1 draw. Push Seattle, maybe force them to make mistakes, and see if you can find a way to win. I think we're fighting for that 1-0, 1-1 draw, or 1-0 loss, or however to see it. I don't know. It's just hard. Just Seattle's playing well. So I don't know. What do you got? What are you seeing as a prediction for this game?
More than anything, I see a 1-1 draw, and I feel like it's gonna be a hard game to contest in between both teams, and they'll somehow find a breakaway to maybe even get those 2 goals in the second half, depending on how the tempo is set. But I feel like it could go either way here if any of the teams it's not really on a good day. But more than anything, I can only see a draw so far.
Maybe we'll see Rebecca play.
I hope so.
Still haven't even seen her play. So
Yeah.
crazy. So I don't know if she's good enough or what, or how she's transitioning in practice. So we'll see. We'll see. But all right, so we're hopeful. Like we said, 7:00. What is it on? Yeah,
I can check it out.
Yeah. So 7:00 on Sunday night. B Squared. That's probably what a Ion or a Paramount Plus channel.
So it's gonna be on NWSL Plus, Paramount Plus, and the CBS Golazo Network.
All right, cool. So you get better options for watching the game. So y'all watch it 7:00 Sunday night, dinner time. So hopefully it'll be a good end to your weekend. All right, so as we move on, let's move on to some Dash news. As we say every week, there's really not much Dash news going on in between games. There is a little roster movement, so we'll talk about that real quick and see if it even matters. But Heather Hinz has mutually agreed to be taken out of her contract and is no longer a Houston Dash player. And Beardsley, I think it's Beardsley. Beardsley has been given her a short-term contract. and will be the third keeper, most likely. Abby Smith, of course, is being the second keeper. I was kind of excited for Heather Hinz and giving her the
Yeah.
opportunity, but it just may be something to where, hey, I want to play. I need to go play, and I want to play. So let me go play somewhere else, and maybe she's got an option. So see if she's playing somewhere. But what are your thoughts on the goalkeeper situation right there? We talked about it last week, having 4 goalkeepers and what's going to happen. I guess we shouldn't have asked.
Yeah, it's tough to keep 4 keepers on the roster because 2 of them are not going to play as much. And it's granted, we have the situation on our hands where Jane Campbell's going to be gone and we have to rotate keepers out. And I'm guessing Heather Hinz was more. Maybe she saw the writing on the wall because of the keeper core, and she took a decision to find another opportunity to get more playing time, which is perfectly understandable. And it's just really tough to manage um, a core of 4 keepers for that reason because you don't know how many chances you're gonna get, especially since those types of opportunities are hard to come by. Since we have like a national team keeper on the roster and a keeper with like significant experience, like winning on the wings, so it really, yeah, it makes sense that she would take that decision, and I'm glad the club managed to come into an agreement with her. And I mean, next player up here, obviously short term deal for the rest of the year, understandable. Since we don't need a 4th keeper, but you definitely get why we need a 4th keeper sometimes. So it definitely makes sense.
We didn't need to bring in Beardsley at all, and
Yeah,
maybe he was already in the works, and so that's why he brought in Beardsley. But Hinz gets activated and then basically released basically in the same week's time. So it's sad. When she was injured, she's there with the team, watching the games, hanging out with the girls. She's in the tunnel down there, chilling. So, like I said, we'll see where she goes. We'll follow her. Give you a little report back when we find out where she goes. Maybe she has other plans or something quick. Also in the news, it sounds like, taken from a good source as well, that Zoe Matthews will be transitioning to center back and has been transitioning to center back. And it looks like this is going to be her new position and also transitioning to center back for her U.S. national team. So, center back, Zoe Matthews, say hello. What do you think about that, Andres?
definitely interesting. She's a tower, and
Oh,
her physical shape can definitely be an advantage, especially for a center back. And yeah, honestly, just thinking about it, if she's just able to like play more conservative and just to try and see her be more defensive minded, I feel like it can definitely work great. And just finding consistent defenders, especially for the national team, I feel like I feel they're just like tougher to come by. And depending how she plays her cards and she's able to perform, I feel like this can be great, especially for the dash. So I'm looking forward to it whenever we see Zoe Matthews play because I want to see her play again. So I hope everything goes well.
well, like you said, she has the physique to be a center back. She's attack minded already. She's admittedly said that she's attack minded, an attacking player. So this will be a transition. This will be a little bit transition. She's open to the transition, and sounds like she's excited to it. Again, from a good source. So I'm looking forward to it as well. You know, you've seen attacking players or midfielders, CDMs more transition back to playing center back sometimes, and they have good ball movement, good ball control with their feet, and knows how to get out of trouble. So when an attacker's pressing on you really hard, you're comfortable with your feet and you get out of there. You're not the big clumsy defender that just just bulldozes people and wins the ball from you and then has to kick it out of there and get lost. But so it'd be nice to see her back there. I'm for it. I was surprised to hear it. but I am excited for it. So hopefully, we can get to see her in there and, mix her in with Katie Lynn. But also from I'm curious. She's been with the U18s U national team. It sounds like she may have an opportunity to even play with the U20 youth national team. And I guess that call should be coming within a week, hopefully, I think, if I remember correctly. So that is something exciting as well, which gives Fabrice more information on Zoe Matthews as he gets to know her and then utilize her. So that's another exciting part. You are a U18 youth national team player, and then you may be looking at a U20 youth national team player as a center back as well for her country. So club and country center back Zoe Matthews, man. Andre, that sounds crazy, but hey, it's a good time to transition when you're a 17-year-old player, and it's what if the coaching staff sees that in you, especially your national team coaching staff, then yeah, it's something you should be open to. And it sounds like she's going to take it really well and going for it.
I mean, I'll take it, and she'll definitely take it for sure.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing her get on the pitch for the dash. And I'll definitely be following those games if there's a way they get televised, those U20 games. I'm sure they'll be on YouTube or something. And watching, seeing how she does back there as a center back. I'll be very curious. I'll be very, very curious. But I'm for it. I'm for it, man. But as far as other dash news, man, that is it. That is it. As in the opening you saw, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify video, you saw the pups were at the park. There were quite a few pups there at the start. A lot of them did have to go home. They do have a bedtime, or they'll just start, pooping everywhere. So the pups did show up. The pups did have some fun, and there were some good pups. There was one pup hanging out on the table. Everybody seen that one pup? It's the little white and orange one. You'll even see it in the picture sitting on the table. So y'all check out the beginning video. Go check out the dash. You can also go check out Houston Sports Images. She took a bunch of photos. I posted those linked yesterday. Yeah, yesterday on Noodle Tempio. Go check out the photos as well, because she's at every game for us, and then not for us. She's at every game for herself and taking great photos and allowing us to share her photos and utilize her photos. So y'all go check out Houston Sports Images. Andreas, anything else? And then want to pass out all our socials and tell people where to find us and what else they should be doing whenever they're watching us on YouTube.
Definitely. And really nothing else to add other than the fact that, guys, we are pushing to get to 300 subscribers. And we are so close to get there.
What are we at?
We are 288. So we need 12 subscribers to hit 300.
Come on, guys. 12 more. I think they know what they're doing. The stash is building up for the giveaway. It's what's going on. We're trying to do this by Austin game, and obviously we passed that.
Yes, and I was gonna get to that because I did say in the last noodle time, but I'm gonna say it right here again. So I'm gonna search in my trunk of Dynamo and Dash stuff to see if there's something I can give away. And that trunk is pretty significant to me because it's full of like Dynamo and Dash memorabilia, so stuff that's like really old, and maybe like another pair of bobbleheads. And I'm trying to see what I can give out, but I have like a lot of good stuff in there. And as soon as we hit 300 subscribers, I'm gonna do a giveaway on X just to thank you guys for your support. And the favor I'm gonna ask for you guys right now is to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, Foxtrot TV on YouTube, and tell your friends to subscribe, because we're setting up to do like a big giveaway. Mark, myself, and really just us, just to say thank you to you guys, because like we do appreciate the support, and this is our way to say thanks, especially for all these years and whenever we had the podcast back up and running. So yeah, just keep that in mind. We're almost there, so as soon as we hit 300 subscribers, we're gonna do that right away. So make sure you're subscribed, and yeah, that's on YouTube, Foxtrot TV. Just search on the search bar, and we are there. And also Goals
We're going to try to
TV.
get some tickets to a future game, and maybe
Yeah,
do like a supporters experience and invite you to the pregame, and we'll make sure it's the tailgate game. So you'll win tickets to the game. We'll invite you to the tailgate. Get to introduce yourself to us, and you'll get to introduce y'all to everybody else. It's a BYOB tailgate. Get you some grub while you're there, and so like I said, the prize pool is getting bigger and bigger. But hey, we're getting tired of y'all waiting. Let's get us to 300. So hey, take your friend's phone
we're
out
almost there.
and just go hit subscribe for them. You don't have to hit the notification. Just hit the subscribe. They'll never know you did it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. We're trying to get to 300. Hey, and we get that algorithm working, so we'll get this episode out there a little bit more, and help grow, because there's not a lot going out there with the Dash Dispatch. There's only two podcasts really out there covering your Houston Dash, and so follow them both, listen to them both, listen to us especially, holler at us. You know where to find me. Come on, you know where to find me. Now Andres is a little 30 minutes south of me, so one day maybe we'll have to meet in the middle and do a podcast from the middle somewhere over there, maybe from a downtown high rise.
Of course. Oh yes.
What else you got though, Andres?
Now, also another way to watch us. Obviously, as mentioned, Spotify also plays videos, and we do try to upload the video version of Foxtrot Game Days on Spotify so more people can see it. So keep an eye on that if you're subscribed to Spotify already. And we are also available on video form on Goals TV. It's a good way to watch other soccer content creators like us. It's going to be goals.tv/@dynamicfoxtrot, and that's going to be goals spelled with a Z towards the end. And audio platforms, we're basically in all the popular ones, so just search a Noodle Time. We're going to be there, so make sure you subscribe there and leave us a comment. And the feedback also goes a long way, so we do appreciate if you have already given us a review. And yeah, our newsletter, we did publish one today, Fox in the Box on Substack. Kind of sad that all three teams lost, because we talked about the sweep the week before, and now it's kind of like opposite. But we've been doing pretty great with that, so we also appreciate the support and making sure you subscribe there and tuning into those as soon as they're posted on a weekly basis. So yeah, we're putting out a lot of content, and also
Thanks
make
for
sure
donations, y'all. Thanks for donations if y'all make them.
Yeah, we do appreciate the donations that we've received so far, and we encourage considering supporting us if you can. It's perfectly fine if you don't. We're still gonna be here no matter what, providing all the coverage for your teams, and yeah, also all season long we're gonna be covering you guys no matter what on X @Dynamic Foxtrot @Noodle Tiempo. And also on Instagram and Blue Sky, we do have the Dynamic Foxtrot handle. So make sure you're following those handles no matter what.
All right, man. Good deal. So y'all heard it there. You know where to follow us. You know where to comment. You know where to talk to us. You know where to see us. Say what's up. We're in the Discords as well. So holler at us, talk to us. But man, I think that's it. I think that's all we've got for this episode. So as we get ready to take you out, we're going to leave you with Avery Patterson celebrating with the team, and that's how you do it. But Andres, I think it's time for us to go and let these people move on with their day. So H is up.
Go beyond.
There we go.
Listen, her shot in the back of the net. Spectacular Avery Patterson. Houston Dasher in front.